Hello, darling. It's Jennifer from the patio. Welcome to another episode of Scraps and Thoughts Thursday. Today's thought is resilience. And I know you already saw it on the thumbnail, but it is resilience. So, did you know that resilience is the art of bending without breaking? So, with that in mind, we're going to do some craft tie-ins that have to do with resilience in journaling. So, with that in mind, about how art, resilience is the art of bending without breaking, today I am still working in my tall, skinny journal. Loving it, actually. I just love doing different, just love doing different journals and different heights. And I just love a tall, skinny journal. So I've already got some things ready. I've already inked it and cut them out and done all the goodies. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to do a flip out page, right? And so I just thought, I just want something a little different. So I went in and took a file folder. I don't really think the measurements are going to be relevant because it just depends on what shape you want yours to be, or how tall or how small. But we all know that a tall, skinny journal, we're working with a very small area. So we're looking at about 4 1/4, right, of space that we're working in. So I believe this is 4 inches, okay? So what I did is I thought, I really want like a, something that would go like this, and then we'd attach it and then pull it out. And I had a piece at the end that just kept on going that would be like this, and then you'd pull it out all the way like this. But I thought, no, I really want some pockets. And so I cut that off and then cut a different piece. And all I did is, if you want this exact same shape, just get you a file folder and then cut it however height that you want on both ends. Cut it at a diagonal and then fold it in half. Then get another piece and, crease it or fold it and then cut it at an angle how you want it to go. But I wanted mine to meet up with this tip up here so that it looked like it was a zigzag. Like that's how I cut it. And so anyway, so that is what we're going to do today. However, so what I was going to do is have 2 pockets. I'll have one here. I'll have one here. And then when you flip it out, I'm going to put a pocket here with a tall tag. Now remember, I'm only using book pages, dictionary, book pages, anything. This is from a book called, and I will show you just in case you want to look for it, but it's called Beautiful Roses, 56 plates in full color. And let me tell you, these are magnificent. Look at these. And the pages are already, aged and looking so pretty. But look at these. I've already used a couple of them. But anyway, so that's what we're using. And I thought I would go with yellow today because I just want to do different colors. And so I don't always do different, certain colors. And so I'm going with yellow today. I also pulled this beautiful rosebud in like a pinkish red out too, just in case I wanted to use that. So I already have that ready to glue down. And I already have my tags that go in my pockets. So what we're going to do first is I'm not going to glue it in yet because I really want to decorate these 2 pages. And I know it's a lot, maybe you don't want to sit through this, but I really want to just kind of ink a little bit, and then I'm going to stamp them just to kind of give them some dimension. So I picked out some colors that I really like. So I've got Stormy Sky for the top. I have some milled lavender because there's some lavender in there. Shabby Shutters and Scattered Straw. So those are the ones that I'm going to be using today. They kind of go with my pretty rose. And then also some other papers that I pulled out. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one different than this one. only because that way it'll give us a contrast. Excuse me. Okay, so I need blue, and then I need lavender, I need green, and I need yellow. That way I have all of them out that I need. Okay, I'm just going to do a progression of colors. I kind of want the blue at the top, so I'm going to start at the top. I'm not doing a whole lot. I just want to give it just a little bit of color in the back, because I am going to stamp them with some stamps that I had pulled out of some birds and some flowers. So I just need like something that looks like sky. Doesn't have to be perfect. And let's see, I'm going to go down a little bit. I want green on the bottom. I'll take yellow on the center. These are all distressed oxides. So I'm just going to add a little bit of yellow in there and kind of blend it just a little bit. So how is everyone doing today? I don't want to be rude and just jump right into Craftin. I hope that you're all doing good. This is a beautiful Thursday. We are getting a cold front this week, and we had one earlier this week, but it wasn't. Okay, that green is not really coming out like I wanted it to come out. There, that's a little better. Okay, and that's it. I just want a little bit of color on that. Okay, so let me do this. Okay, and then this one, I kind of want, I honestly just want something subtle. So I may just do, and you're not going to see some of it because it's going to be covered up. This part is for sure. Let me see how much of that. Okay, so let me just do blue at the tops of that. We're just going to do blue. You can hear Bubba. Him and Delilah are playing. Bubba, you be nice to her, honey. I'm keeping my daughter's dog for a while. Hey, hey, hey. We are dog sitting. Bubby, Bubby. Bubby. Let's be nice, Bubby. Okay, so part of what, the resilience, we know that with crafting, you have to have a lot of resilience in your pages. You have to use a lot of really strong papers. This isn't going to show at all, this right here, because it's going to be, this is the one that's going to be behind. Okay, so I need to go down a little bit more. Okay. Just trying to take that up a little bit higher. Okay, that's going to be like that. And then this, we need to go down just a little bit more. And this we can probably blend in. But in crafting, we have to have pages that are resilient. And like when we are, like what we're doing today is we are making a flexible little hinge, then, flip out. Well, it needs to be flexible, right? But it also has to have strength. And it's the same with us, we need to be flexible but strong. And resilience reminds me of a family member of mine who has been going through just a horrendous amount of treatment for cancer. And we're talking surgery, radiation, chemo. It has been absolutely ridiculous, to tell you the honest truth. And she has been so resilient through all of this. She has been so strong and flexible. And it is just amazing to me. And when I think about the word resilient, I really do think about that. I think about, people that have just been going through so much in their life, and yet they just keep smiling. They just keep going. They just keep helping. They just, it's amazing how resilient we really are. And, I don't just look at other people that, I think about every person. And I really do believe, I went to lunch with my girlfriends last week for some October birthdays. And we were talking and about just kind of about this thing and just what people are going through. And I got a thumbprint right there, and I don't like that. I don't like it at all. Let's get it off. I don't think I'm going to be able to. That's okay. But anyway, we were talking, and we were kind of talking about the same thing, just, how tough life is, and people are, going through a lot of stuff, and, how resilient we are. And my girlfriend said, which is a line that I use all the time. Did you know that you have survived 100% of everything you've gone through? Because here we are, right? Here we are just dealing with life. And, we're all very resilient. I tell my daughters that a lot, like we were made to be resilient, to bounce back, to be flexible, and yet be strong, because we have to be strong. Okay, so this is all done. Now, the only thing about this ink is it is an oxide, so it kind of needs to dry just a hair. So while this is drying, because I'm going to stamp it, see, that's a pretty blue, but I never even used that lavender, did I? I'm just going to throw a little bit on there. Just a little bit. Let me get this one back out, because I kind of want a little bit of lavender. See, that was blue. Let me see where my lavender one is. But anyway, and it's, it's, life is just like that. It throws us curveballs, and we just kind of have to bend with it. It's kind of like a tree, and bending with the wind. I mean, sometimes these storms and these wind, and yeah, you're right. Sometimes the tree breaks or the limbs break, but we're still very, very resilient. And so anyway, that's what I was thinking about with the journals, is that there's a lot of things, a lot of elements that we put in our journals that we have to strengthen, but yet they have to be flexible. And that's what just reminded me of that. And one of them is this very thing. It is a flip out page. You can't just have it, willy-nilly hanging on the edge. I mean, you have to strengthen it, maybe put a little bit of extra glue on this, which is what we're going to do, so that it stays and it doesn't, it stays through time, because we want our journals to last. I don't want this to break, and, but, I'm just going to put a little here just to, like I said, I'm just adding just a little bit of color to this, and I'm going to stamp it. And I still want to ink the edges, so I'm going to do that too. But anyway, I find that, and also another thing, another tie-in, a craft tie-in, if you will, is that has to do with resilience, is a patchwork collage. When we use our scraps, and our torn bits to make something, it's, it reflects kind of this bouncing back, from brokenness. I mean, you have all these bits and pieces. but yet you're putting them all together again to make something strong and beautiful. And you know, that's kind of how life is. You know, we bounce back. We all of our broken pieces put together make us who we are. And you know, being resilient is part of that, part of life. It's being strong and holding on through all of the hard times. And just knowing that, you know, if you're flexible, you're strong, but you're flexible, you're going to come out on the other side, you know, for one, a better person because you've learned something. But for two, it's just, you know, strong. You're going to be stronger. And I find that they say even like when a bone breaks and then it heals back, it's stronger than it was before. And so there's, you know, none of us want to go through hard times. And it's kind of like this flip out page. It's going to be used over and over and over again. There's going to be stress put on it. It'll be opened and closed, and, you know, so, and that's how we are in our lives. You know, we go through things over and over again. But if we stay flexible and just kind of bending and going with the flow and with life itself, we'll hold up and we'll be strong. So, but yeah, collages remind me of that too. Just taking those bits and strips and making, I don't think you're going to see that, but I think I'm going to go ahead and ink that anyway. Okay. It's going to be what it's going to be. So let's go ahead, and I just want to get a little bit of dimension going here. So this is the part that flips out. This is going to go here. I don't need to ink the inside. And so what I want on this particular page is I just want to put a little bit of background on this. And so I'm going to use my archival ink, and I'm just going to use my coffee. So this is Ranger's archival ink, and I'm using the coffee. And so I'm going to do two separate. I'm going to do one, and then I'll do the other one. So I'll put that here. But, yeah, it's just taking those, you know, little scraps and pieces and just, and, you know, when they put these on here, they're not real straight. So I have to be careful that I'm not, I'm just doing a little bit. I mean, just a little. Yeah, perfect, perfect. Okay, so I just wanted a little bit of that. And then I'm going to use, somebody told me, oh, you can use, you know, I told you about me getting some flushables, these flushable wipes. Somebody gave me some. And she said, use them to clean your stamp. And you know what? I have. And it does a marvelous job. It does. It does. And I don't want to keep you long because I know that you guys have got a lot of things going on in your life like everybody else does. So I am trying to go a little bit faster. Okay, so this side, I want to do some like crackled, peeled, you know, paint or whatever. And I'm just going to do a little bit. So I'm going to ink this up with the same thing. I just want just something in the background. So let me just do a little bit of that. And I don't want to go all the way down. So I kind of just want to go like, boop. And then, boop. And then boop, boop. You get some more over there. There. It's not, it's just subtle. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, and then on this side, we're going to need a little bit more inky ink. And then the other thing too is reinforced hinges. You know, and we're going to do that today just to reinforce that hinge. But you know what we do as crafters is to give our journals and our pages resilience to withstand whatever may, you know, whatever may come. We'll use washi tape or, you know, maybe fabric or something to, did I do it up and down on the other side? No, I did it like this. Okay. So we'll do, you know, we'll put washi tape on. We'll, ooh, that looks good. Okay. And then, you know, maybe, because I do that to my spines of my journals. I'll take, you know, a thick, you know, not roll, but a thick piece of lace or fabric, and I will reinforce the spine and using Fabri-Tac, some strong glue, just so that I know that it's not going to fall apart. So resilience, you know, that's a big thing for junk journaling. We want our journals to last. We want them to be strong, and we want them to last. Okay, sorry, I've got to get this. There's a little bit of ink on there. Okay, so let's put these back over here out of my way. Okay, so these look good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and glue these together. Okay, so this is going to go, actually, I think I'll go ahead and stamp first. Let me stamp this one first. I wanted to have a pretty bird, and then I wanted to have, I have these stamps. I wanted this little flower thing here. And I like this bird because it's dark. I do have another one, and I was thinking about using it, but I may use it in another one. And then I'm going to use brown because I'm just going with a lighter look here. I'm going to see if I can use my petunia. I prefer this, and I think I can as long as I do this. I just love these things because they just help. Okay. This is going to go there, so this is going to have to go. Okay, this is going to go here. And we have our little bird. Okay, let me get it to where it is. Right up against there. I want it to be straight. Okay. Whoops, don't do that. Okay, let me pick this up. And maybe I should use, because if I use the same color, it's not going to stand out. So I'm just going to go ahead and use black. Although I did this one, and it does look good, doesn't it? Yeah, I think I'll use the coffee dye. I'm going to use coffee stained. Yes, I am. But anyway, I was looking the other day at a journal that I made, years ago. And it was just a little travel journal. My daughter and I have traveled a lot, going to national parks and hiking and stuff. And so that was what I made it for. And I found it the other day, and I'm like, whoo, still hanging in there, still holding strong. One thing I like about this is that if it doesn't come out the way I want it, I can just stamp it again. I don't know. I think that looks pretty good. I could get this a little bit darker, but I think I'm good with that. Look how pretty. Okay, so let's do the other side. And let's see. Let me get this ink off. That was a great idea to use these for the ink. I use baby wipes, but this does seem to kind of get it off a little bit better. So for this one, what I wanted to use, and I just love this This one is, I wanted to use these cute little birds that are, look how cute. I hope it fits. Yeah, it'll be just right. And I'm going to pull it up because I think I'm going to put a sentiment underneath it. These are hollow birds, but guess what I got out? I got out some markers to use. Okay, that looks good, huh? And I'm going to do that brown too. Yes, I am. I'm going to keep those little wipes handy. Okay, I'm going to use the coffee one again. Anyway, I pulled that journal out, and there was some because I used double-sided adhesive, you know, the rolls that you can get like this. And it comes, that was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. And it came undone. I used to make them for church. I would give them make-up little books. Because, you know, when you go to church, you take notes or whatever. Or maybe for Bible study, because I used to do a lot of Bible studies. And so I would make them for my friends. And I had to be careful because after a while, the little pockets would be coming undone. And I'm like, uh-oh, I'm sorry. I used the double-sided adhesive instead of like art glitter glue. That's when I really switched to art glitter glue and just a better glue. Of course, that was when I first started making journals and stuff. Oh my goodness, that's so cute. Isn't that cute? Okay, that's going to be adorable. Okay, where's this? Let me see how far we are. Okay, we're already at 26 minutes. I don't want to go over, so I'm going to set my timer. And I know you guys like me to finish, and so I'm going to do the best I can to get us finished. I might not have the tags. I might not have the tags all finished, but that's okay. Okay, so now we have that and that. Oh, that's going to be so pretty. And then this is going to go like that. And then we're going to have some tags that fit in there. So let's glue this down first. And I like the idea of pockets right here. So I'm going to hold that like that because the one on the back, I have to make sure that I can see it underneath there. I want to make sure, for one, that this one closes. Kind of have to pull it out just a little bit. Excuse me. I just want to make sure that it's even. Okay, so there. I'm going to hold it down, and then I'm going to use my Lineco. So I'm just going to do the bottom and the side. Okay. Hold that down just a hair. And I like that, see how this is the crackled look and this is just a different background. I like that. Okay. And we'll turn it over and we're going to do the same thing. We are going, and you know, I think on this one I might do, I don't want it flopping. So I think I'm going to do all of it on this. So I'm going to do all the way down. And then I'll do the bottom. And then I'll do the side. I've been using a lot of my stamps lately, and I'm just loving it. I got a big stack out yesterday and just started, you know, doing some backgrounds and then stamping, and I love it. Yeah, that's the only thing is this, I have to hold it down because of the distressed oxide ink. You have to give it a little bit of time to grab. Okay. I think that looks good. Okay, there we go. So now let's adhere it inside the journal. So it's going to go in like this. And then it'll flip out. Let me just, what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark it right here with a pencil. And then I'm going to there. I'm going to use some tape on that, and then I'm going to reinforce it with a little bit of, but that way I know that little sucker is going to, we are reinforcing it, right? To give it some resilience so that it's, the only thing about this is that glue's going to go through there, but I'm okay with that. I can do something to the other side. There's that. Let me get my credit card. This is not a credit card. This is Whataburger. Whataburger. I hope you can see because the light just keeps going in and out because we're supposed to get a storm, not a storm, but a, yeah, I guess it is a thunderstorm today. And, okay, I need a little bit more. Let me pull, I think that's good. And then I'll put glue on that other side. I'm gonna burnish that down. I'm sorry, my arm keeps going in the camera. I'm gonna burnish that down. And what this does too is it reinforces it, which helps because in a hinge, we need things to be reinforced. It just reminds us that, you know, it makes us that particular part strong and makes it last longer. So, which is part of being resilient, right? Okay, let me put that glue in there. Let me grab my little hingy thing. Okay, and then that's gonna go in here. So I'm gonna put glue up here. And I know for a fact that this is not showing, so I can, with confidence, come down close to it and reinforce. I don't know why that's not, oh, I had the pin in there. Oh my goodness, I pulled the top off. My little top ball on the top of my pin came off, so I am just, okay, let me do this side. I'm just doing the part and then doing just a little bit on top of that glue too. And then I have that to reinforce it. So we should be good to go. So now I just have to make sure. I'm going to pull it this way. I'm going to get this laid down. Because we want that hinge to be really strong. Because it's going to get some movement. Okay. And then you're just going to pull, and it'll pull out like this. That looks really good. Okay. So, the thing that I wanted to do is I have 2 cards that I've already made. I've already inked them. I used them out of some dictionary page and put them on some file folder, and these are going to go in here. Now, if the glue is too much, then I may have to make them a little bit smaller. So these are going in here like this. That way they're the same height, so when you look at this, you won't even see the other one. Okay, And that looks, that was a good job on the reinforcement. That really is making a difference. But what I really kind of want to do to this edge right here is I want to reinforce that. And so I'm gonna pick, I've got this washi tape out, which I like. It has the yellow in it. And then I also got this one out, but I think this one, I'm not really, it has red. I don't think I'm gonna do red, but it does have, this one has the lavender. So I'm gonna reinforce this hinge right here so that I know that it's gonna stick and it's gonna stay and it's gonna last. So let me get my book in case I go over, and I'm going to go all the way to the top. And look, it is portrait like this, so that is even better. Love it. Okay, so I think I'm going to cover up that ink. I am. Let me get it right on there. Let me cover that up. Cut it off. I don't want to push it down too much because then it'll stick to that and not the other. Okay. And once again, I'm going to put a little bit of extra glue on that just to, oh, I ripped that page. That's okay. We'll do something out of that. Just to make sure that this is going to stick and stay, I'm going to reinforce it with some Lineco glue. Some good sturdy wet glue. Okay, and then I'm just going to press that down. I'm going to bring it towards me. Move my hand. And then I'm going to bring this up tight. And we are at 10 minutes. Okay, I may go to, I just want to honor you guys. It's 37, so I may do 5 more. And let's see what that does. Let's see where we are in 5 minutes. Okay, so there's that. So that looks good. So let me cut this off. Okay. Okay, so that looks good, and that matches, and that looks pretty. And I will have to do that another time. So what I want to do over here is I want to put a pocket in so that I can put this in there. And I just think that's going to be so pretty. Like, oh, look, that's going to be really pretty. Okay, so let me go ahead and glue this down. And then while this is drying, I will attach a pocket. Now, once again, this is another way to reinforce and give your page some resilience is to use UHU glue. Yoo-hoo! Because when it dries, it is so strong. It makes your page really strong. And so I like to use this when I'm doing collage because of that very reason. Let me turn that around so that I don't get glue everywhere. And then reinforce the edges. I don't want any pictures on the back. And then I'm going to put it down. I'm going to have to cut some of that off because I did it bigger because I didn't want to make it too small and then it not fit. So I was like, let me cut it a little bit bigger. But I can take that off. That is not a problem. And I will do it right now. Even though it's wet, I'm going to do it. So it'll make my tag stronger. And then this is an old book, so yeah, I have to be careful that I don't, you know, kind of like I did, but I don't mind it roughed up a little bit, so I don't mind that. Okay, so now let me just do a little ink on this side where I just cut it. And then I'm going to set that aside to dry. You get back here. And this is going to be the writing, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my gesso, and actually it's not gesso. I like to use chalk paint, just white chalk paint. And I just take my finger and I'm just going to run it down so that it gives a place to write on. Okay, so there's that. So we want that to be about like that. And I did pull out some scraps, and I'm okay with using scraps because they're in my stash. I need to use them. So this is pretty. I think I'll use that. Okay. So I'm going to use this piece of scrap, and then I also have this yellow that I might add something to. And I think I have another one of those that I can kind of tie something in. Okay, let's do that. Okay, I'm going to use this just the way it is. So I am going to, I'm going to do a medium on the top. I'm not going to cut the bottom, but I am going to put a notch in it. So let me see where the center is. And then I'll just put this little baby right here. And then just do this. Okay. And I saved these. Did I show y'all that already? Look what I made. I just think they're just so cute. This is all fall colors, and I forgot to put it in a little one of my journals, but I'm not done with them yet. So anyway, I saved these. Just something to think about, and to just glue the little tips to the one underneath it. Okay, so there's that, and we definitely, there goes 5 minutes. So let me do it one more time. I'm going to do it again. I want to make sure that you guys are not like, that's too long, I can't watch that. I really want it. I want to give you guys what you came here for in a reasonable amount of time. 1 hour videos just don't make it. I totally get it. Okay, sometimes it's just hard because, you know, it's like, ooh, there's stuff I want to do. Okay, so let me put that down there. I'm just going to put a little glue. I hope you can see because my... Okay. I'm going to put it right on top of that line too. Use my fingernail to get the excess. Pinch the top just so it'll come up a little bit. And allow my tag to go in there. Yes, that's going to be good. Okay, do I want to do something different than this? I don't know if I want it to be square. Everything else is kind of rounded. So I'm going to do the medium on that just to have them all rounded and delicate looking like all the other ones. And then I'm going to do a little touch and a little touch and a little touch and a little touch. And then that's going to go like that. And it goes literally right to the top. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so what I'm going to do here is, I don't know why, but I'm a weirdo and I love circles. And so I'm just like, you know what? I think I'm just going to do a circle. Let me see what I have. I have a whole bunch of circles. I have 1 1/2, I have 1 3/4, and 1 1/4. And I think I want a 1 1/2 actually. Okay, so there's one. And I think that's it. I think I'm just going to tie these colors in a little bit. And that's the hard part because I can't use anything else, right? I can use scraps, but I can't use stickers or anything. And it's for me. It's my own challenge. And if you're doing it with me, hey, it's hard to, not to get your stickers out or whatever, but that's okay. We're just going to make it work. And I could put a pocket or something over here. Actually, I could put a belly band, and then that way I can put some paper, and that will tie it in. Perfect. Okay, so let me cut that off. And then I'll do this. And then it's like right to the edge, which is perfect. That's what we want. So let's just glue that down. And even with this, you want it to be resilient. Because you're going to be pulling paper in and out of it. So you want to make sure that you put a decent amount of glue on there. You don't want it squishing out or anything, but okay. And then I'm going to put that there. But I do have some scraps. Isn't this is the offcut from that. Isn't that a beautiful color? Oh my goodness, it's just beautiful. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but I did get, I love this stamp. There's only one U. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to cut it. And hopefully no, it's not. How about we just tear it? And then that way we don't have to worry about whether the cut is perfect or not. And this is perfect for tearing because it is old. And I don't even know what the copyright is on that. Okay, there it goes. There it goes again. That's 15 extra minutes. Okay, I'm done. I'm almost done. Let me just rip this real quick. And I just took off all the really pretty color too. But it'll look better. It'll look better just kind of torn. Hopefully my stamp will fit again. Well, here's one. I have one called that's Follow Your Dreams. And I like that one too. Or we could just do Embrace Life. How about that? Let's do that one because it is so true. We need to embrace life because life is fun but it is, sometimes it's hard, and that's okay. It makes us stronger. What do they say? What doesn't kill you will make you stronger, and that is true. That's like I said. Okay, so I love these cutoffs. Okay, anyway, so let me do this. I got to do it. I got to do this. I was trying not to get it on my paper because my little dauber is shedding. Okay. It's just a little color. That's all it is. So let's do, I think I'm going to just stick with the whole coffee. Oop, I got it on my finger. It should be nice and good to go. Let me turn it this way. Hope you can still see me. Okay, there. I mean, it just is something simple. But sometimes simple is nice and pretty. Okay, let's glue this down. I hope you have a nice rest of the week. Let me know what you're doing, how everything's going. I've found that I do have a little bit more time on my hands than what I thought, because you know I'm gonna start watching my grandbaby at the end of November, so I was just getting myself ready. But I can throw in another day, and so let me know if that's something that you want me to do. Are you interested in me doing 3 days a week, or just staying with 2? Because I feel like I could probably do it. Okay, so there is our page, and I think that it looks fabulous. We'll have to do something here, maybe tie in the yellow or something. I do have a little bit, you know, more of this, but just something to give it a little bit of color over here. But there we go. And then we have our 2 tags that go in our pockets. It pulls out like this. And then we'll put some paper here. And then we have all of our stamps. We have our tall tag. I'll put the chalk paint on the back just so it gives an area for journaling. And it fits in just like that. So there we go. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today on this Scraps and Thoughts Thursday. And remember, you are stronger than you think. And you have survived 100% of everything that's ever happened to you. So hang in there, right? Scars don't mean we're weak. They prove that we've healed. I'll see you later. But remember, you only know what you know until you know something different. Bye-bye.